he wasn't immediately referred to as the beloved. It's hard to imagine, but Louis XV was quite shy for a long time. His first official mistress appeared when he was in his early 20s, and after that, there was a whole parade of favorites. The first was Louise Julie de Mailly, a young woman chosen for him with a specific purpose by Cardinal de Fleury. Why have a mistress when there's a queen? By the mid-18th century, the answer was clear: to influence the king. The legitimate queen, Maria Leszczyńska, was kind and caring, but also rather cold. Everyone in Versailles understood that with such qualities, she wouldn't hold Louis's attention for long. After all, he was a Bourbon, a direct descendant of the Sun King. Thus, a circle of trusted advisors came up with the idea: why not find a suitable mistress for the French ruler? One who was reliable and proven, rather than a random woman who might distract him? The search began, and Cardinal de Fleury, the de facto head of state, chose the delicate and charming Louise Julie de Mailly. She was the same age as the king, having just turned 23, and came from a respectable ancient family. She was related to the famous Cardinal Mazarin through one of her grandmothers, Hortense Mancini. Her mother had served as a lady-in-waiting to Queen Maria Leszczyńska, but had passed away by that time. Louise Julie was the eldest of 5 daughters in her family. The king's valets, Bachelier and Lebel, were instructed to assist in arranging meetings between Louis and Madame de Mailly. The future mistress was given clear instructions as well. However, Louise Julie didn't mind. She was married to her elderly cousin and had no strong feelings for him. Being the king's favorite was considered an honorable position in the 18th century. But nothing happened. The king would meet the beautiful lady, gaze at her intently, mumble something incoherent, clearly enchanted. And that was it. Fleury was frustrated and demanded more frequent meetings. Louise Julie made sure to be seen by the king, smiling at him encouragingly, yet still nothing. Duke Richelieu was called in to help, and during a private conversation, he discovered that the shy Louis was indeed interested in getting to know Madame de Mailly better. But he was too timid. The Duke volunteered to arrange a meeting. It was a complete disaster. Left alone with the beauty, the king became completely flustered. Louise Julie tried to engage him in conversation, but he alternated between blushing and paling. Madame de Mailly stormed out of the pavilion where the meeting was held, furious. She approached the cardinal and demanded to be fired, to which she received a swift response. "What? You give up so easily? Be more persistent. The king is just shy." Her pride was wounded. Madame de Mailly immediately returned to the pavilion. Determined to see it through, she eventually succeeded. Louis was delighted. Louise Julie and he got along wonderfully, and from that moment on, she became the king's mistress. Of all Louis XV's lovers, she was the least greedy and most modest. Yes, she accepted gifts, but she didn't try to place her relatives in convenient positions. Her apartments were tastefully decorated, and when she hosted guests, she borrowed candelabras from her neighbors. She didn't have enough of her own. However, her father did manage to secure 500,000 livres from the king for his silence, as the relationship between Louis and Louise Julie was not immediately made public. When the king's attention began to wane, Madame de Mailly introduced him to her sisters. These ladies became her successors, and soon Louise Julie left the court. In the year 1748, she was widowed and died 3 years later. Since Madame de Mailly was reluctant to seek Louis's help, her final years were spent in poverty.